Hello students and welcome to the e-learning program initiated by Shri Gyanmanjari for the students of Standard 9, in which we are learning the subject of English. Students, today we are going to start with uh, the last chapter of the main book, that is Behave. Behave chapter number 11 is the last chapter of this book. Name of the chapter is If I Were You. This chapter is written by Douglas James, and this is actually a drama that has to be performed on the stage. When we know very well that when the drama is going to be performed on the stage, there are lots of restrictions that are to be followed. Yes, for example, the background or the scenery does not change usually for quite a long time. Yes, because it takes a lot of time to change the scenery and accordingly the furniture over there, right? So it takes a lot of time. So usually, if it is a room, then the same room keeps on going till the end of the of the drama. So this is not a one man play, but this is not solo, but this is a drama performed by two people. So actually it's a role play, but as we are studying online, so uh, we'll be going through the complete drama and try to understand what is being said over here. Now, Gerald is the one of the actor in this drama. He is the one of the character. So Gerard lives alone in a lonely cottage. An intruder who is a criminal enters his cottage. He intends to murder Gerard and take on his identity. Does he succeed? That's a question being asked over here. So I think we understand the theme of the drama. Theme of the drama is there is a person who is living quite lonely, far away from other people, locality, and his name is Gerard. He is the main character of the story. Next, another character is the intruder. Intruder is a person who forcefully enters a house without permission. Usually, intruder we call as a thief or a robber, dacoit, something who is quite dangerous to the people living in the house, and that is why we call him an intruder who has come in, barged inside your house actually without permission and intends to harm you. That is why we call him intruder. Now that particular intruder, now he is a criminal also. Yes, intruder, if our relatives etc., they also come to our house unannounced, we have not invited them, but we know them, we also call them intruder, but then they are not harmful, right? But they disturb us and we have to attend to them when we are onto something or we are doing some work, so we call them an intruder, in quite a simple language, that they intrude upon our uh, personal timings, right? And they disturb our uh, working etc., so we call them intruding our peace or our work. But here the intruder is illegally entering, forceful entry in the house, and on top of that he is a criminal. So it suits him, and he enters his. Now, what is the intention of the intruder? He wants to kill Gerard and take his cottage, take his name, take his identity. He wants his identity non-existent, because now he kills Gerard and he makes the body disappear and then he takes his place. So he is now Gerard, the intruder, the criminal. After killing Gerard, he will become the person himself, and so now the police is not wanting to, because Gerard is quite a simple, honest fellow. Yes, and he is not a criminal. So when the criminal takes his identity, he will also become perfect, pure, and quite a respectable person in the society, and the police will not doubt him. That is the intention of the criminal. Now let us go ahead with the drama. This is part one. What is the scene? Usually we are because we are not spectators, we are not watching the drama, so we have to be told what the scene is, right? What is the scene? It's a small cottage interior, because we are inside a room, so the interior of the cottage is being shown over here. There is an entrance back right. Yes, because stage opens on two sides, the left flank and the right flank, right? So characters, they enter from there, and we are told as if they are entering through a door. So there is a entrance back right, which may be curtained, right? Well, usually no doors are there on the left and right flank. There is just a curtain hanging, and when a person enters, we presume that he enters from the door. That curtain acts as a door. Another door to the left must be a practical door. Is look-alike of a door is made over there, and it opens and closes also. So physically we can say that the what the spectators see, what the audience sees, is the door over there, right? So he opens and closes. Actually, he is just exiting from the stage. So that's it. The furniture is quite simple. Usually in drama, you don't have many obstacles over there, right? Because more the obstacles, the audience will not be able to look what's happening over there. So usually quite simple. Um, Furniture is kept over there, and furniture will be usually near the walls, so that it does not disturb. Usually a center table will be kept, and that also a low center table will be kept, so that it does not uh, 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 obstruct the viewer to see what is going on the stage. So quite simple furniture is kept, consisting of a small table towards the left, a chair or two over there, and a divan, rather upstage. Upstage means far away from the, that is the opposite wall, right? A rear wall. There it is kept, so that it does not obstruct the viewer. Divan, sofa, right? Divan, rather upstage on the right. On the table, there is a telephone. Yes, a telephone will hardly be having a real connection. Yes, and it will just be having a wire to show you. But then the ring, it is given from the backstage through a recorder, and it is given directly to the speakers. So whenever there is a need to give a ring on the telephone, usually the backstage operator, he gives a ring on the he plays the sound of the ringtone of the telephone on the speaker. So that is the usual arrangement. When the curtain rises, now when the audience is coming in to watch the drama, at that time that curtain will be usually closed. When the theater is full, or when the all the space, the sitting space is full, then according to the timing set, the drama will begin. Yes, so when the drama begins, first the curtain is lifted, the audience is allowed to consume or to digest the scenery over there, and then someone comes, enters, and gives his introduction to the drama, or simply the drama starts. So when the curtain rises, Gerard is standing by the table. Now here, the one of the leading characters is already on the stage, and the people can see them, see him. He is standing by the telephone, and he is making a call. He is of medium height and wearing horn-rimmed glasses. He is dressed in a lounge suit and great coat. His voice is cultured. That means he is quite educated man. He is refined language which he is using on the telephone. He is in his house, so uh, he is dressed in long suit and great coat. Perhaps he is ready to go somewhere, right? And he's just before going away from the house, before going out of the house, he wants to make an urgent call, and that is why he is standing near the telephone. He is making a call. That is the scenery in front of the people. Now the drama begins, because when the actor starts speaking, at that time the drama starts. So we have the dialogue over here. Gerard, yes, you'll find a colon over here, right? And that means Gerard is speaking that. Well, tell him to phone up directly. I must know. Yes, I expect I'll still be there here, but you mustn't count on that. In about 10 minutes, right ho, goodbye. So he is making an important call. He is asking someone to do something, to be there, and expect Gerard to be present over there in just a matter of minutes, or maybe on the correct appointed time. But you mustn't count on that. In about 10 minutes time, okay, not exactly, but I'll reach there in about 10 minutes, or around 10 minutes of the appointed time, right? And he says goodbye to that person and puts the receiver back on the cradle. That means he disconnects the phone. He puts down the phone and goes to the divan on the left, where there is traveling bag, and starts packing, whilst he is thus engaged another man. So he's not looking at the audience, right? He is supposed to be doing his work. So after placing the receiver on the telephone cradle, he goes near the bed. On the bed is a big bag where he is doing his packing. Yes, he must have kept all these things ready, clothes and whatever essentials he need for journey or travel. So he's busy packing, so his back may be towards the audience, or he is standing in such a way that his back is not seen. Usually that should be in a drama. The people should not be looking at your back, so you should be standing sideways so that people can see half of your face and what exactly you are doing. Otherwise, whatever you are doing, because you are standing your back is turned towards the audience, what happens is what you are doing cannot be seen by the audience, right? So you have to stand in such a way that the audience clearly sees what you are doing. So he might be standing in that way, yes, left or right, so that the audience clearly knows, the spectators really know what you are doing. They can see you clearly putting the things in the bag, and that means you're packing for somewhere to go. And another man, he enters the stage. Similar in build, that means both of them, they are similar in build. That means height, weight, body, almost usually approximately the same, right? That means having the same height. Even the shoulders, they are also quite up to the mark, and the fitness of the body is also look alike, and face also maybe a look alike, right? So they uh, similar in build to Gerard. He enters from the right, he's silently, and most dangerous thing is he is having a revolver in his hand. He is flashily dressed in an overcoat and a soft hat. Flashily, that means the clothes are quite flashy, right? And he is dressed in a flashily looking overcoat, and he is having a soft hat on the top. Uh, he bumps accidentally against the table, and at the sound, Gerard turns quickly, because Gerard is the only person in the cottage. He lives single, and any unwanted noise is going to attract his attention, especially in the room. So the intruder, he walks in quietly. He is pointing a gun. He is having a gun in his hand, and his gun is pointed towards Gerard, and he is so much engrossed in looking at Gerard and maintaining his silence that he doesn't see the table that is kept over here, and he bumps into it, making a sound, because when he uh, disturbs the table, the sound of the table is going to attract the attention of Gerard. And so Gerard turns immediately, and he sees someone, a strange person, a stranger, pointing a gun towards him. Now, this should be quite terrifying. Yes, because the person will be in a shock. In his house, he is all alone. All of a sudden, in his room, not in his house only, but in his room, there is a stranger who is pointing a gun at him. He should be in a state of shock. But here, we see quite a lot of difference. Yes, Gerard is absolutely not panicked, not shocked. Yes, he is behaving as if this is quite normal, right? And he baffles. This is what whole of the drama is. Yes, whole of this drama is based on that. That Gerard behaves quite normally, as if the gun is never pointed at him, right? So here also, even for the first time when he looks at the stranger with a revolver in his hand and the gun pointed at him, then also he is not at all shocked, he is not at all terrified, he is not panicking, yes, he is not shaking, shivering, yes, but he, on the opposite, he behaves very coolly and calmly, and that is going to shock the intruder, because the intruder has that in mind, that when someone comes to know all of a sudden a gun is pointed towards him, he is going to be in a state of shock, right? And he is going to baffle, and he is going to beg to have mercy and leave him, and not to shoot him, not to kill him. But nothing like that happens over here. We see Gerard pleasantly, that means he is happy, right? Why? This is a surprise, and he asks for name, right? And these things are not expected by the intruder. Intruder, I am glad you are pleased to see me. Now, intruder on the opposite side, he is also not shocked, right? And on the contrary, because he is a criminal. Yes, he is used to these type of situations, and he is used to keep his calm in any given situation, even when it's quite difficult and he's trapped over there. He must have been, because he's a hardened criminal, so he must have his cool and calm, right? And he has a gun in hand. He shouldn't make mistakes, right? Otherwise, the gun will go off, and he might shoot or kill someone he doesn't want to, and he will fall into trouble. So he's a hardened criminal. He knows that. So here we see that both the characters, they are quite cool and calm. So who is going to win? That's the problem. So the intruder says, I'm glad you are pleased to see me. I don't think you'll be pleased for long, but though, put those paws up. Right? We have quite an American English over here. Right? That's quite different. And the sense of humor of both these people can be seen very clearly. Right? The intruder says, I'm very glad that you, because Gerard says, oh, I'm pleased to see you. Right? And he's smiling over there even when a gun is pointed towards him. Then also he is smiling and pleasantly he says, it's very nice to see you. So the intruder says, I am glad that you are quite pleased in this situation. Yes, and I don't think you will remain pleased because I have a gun in my hand and that's going to trouble you. So I don't think it's going to be quite long till you are pleased. You are going to be quite unhappy. Yes, I'm sure of it. And put those paws up. Paws, they are for animals, right? A cat family, they have paws, right? Now, Gerard is not an animal, but put the paws up means put your hands up. I have a gun in my hand, so automatically it means hands up. But it is said in another way, put those paws up, that means put up your hands. Gerard, this is very melodramatic. Yes, melodramatic, sad drama type, right? Usually it means a drama where lots of sadness or such type of emotions are found. Yes, this is quite melodramatic, not very original. Yes, it doesn't look very original. You have a gun in hand, you are happy. On the other side, I'm the receiver, right? And this is all melodrama. It's not real, right? Perhaps, maybe I'm just dreaming. Introduces, try to be calm and don't do that. Try to be calm means don't do anything unexpected, because if you try to jump on me, if you try to run away, I'm going to shoot. So don't try to trap me in words, right? And do something all of a sudden, right? So you'll be unhappy with that. Gerard said, nonchalant is your word. Yes, I think. Yes, nonchalant means just stay calm over here, right? And uh, what you mean to say is don't be too happy, don't be too sad, right? You just be as you are. Thanks a lot, intruder says. You'll soon stop being smart. Yes, now the intruder understands that he is dealing with quite an educated person. He is dealing with a smart person who is at all not fooled by the gun in his hand, right? And he is not at all terrified at the gun and looking at the gun. He is not at all finding himself in danger. So he's a smart guy, and then that means he has to be more smarter than Gerard, because now he has the gun and he needs to emphasize that your life is in danger if you do anything over smart. So I'll make you crawl. I have the gun in my hand, and that means you have to obey whatever I say. If I want to make you crawl, crawl means walking on fours. I can do it because you will be forced to do it. If if the gun is pointing at you, and if you don't do what I say, I'm going to shoot. So you should be terrified, and if that means you have to crawl, if I say ask you to crawl, you got to crawl. I want to know a few things. Yes, so just be calm, just keep standing as it is, don't make any sudden moves, and behave normally. Yes, don't get agitated, excited, don't try to act over smart. I just want to know a few things, so we'll do talking. Yes, Gerard says, anything you like. Yes, when he says, I want to know a few things, so Gerard is acting quite coolly and quite smartly. So anything you like, I know all the answers. Yes, I am quite an educated man. I have lots of knowledge. So whatever knowledge you want, I can give you. But before we begin, I should like to change my position. You may be comfortable, but I am not. Yes. Now, they are in quite awkward situation where a gun is pointed towards Gerard. Yes, and Gerard is trying to throw that man off balance. He says, you are quite comfortable because you have a gun in your hand, but I am not comfortable because I have a gun pointing at me, so I am not comfortable. So I want to change my position. That means he is asking permission to do some movement in the room. So introducer says, now of course when a gun is pointed towards you, you get nervous, right? The gun may blow off accidentally also. Not the intruder may not be trying to harm him, but then you don't know the finger triggers pulls the trigger and the gun may go off, but that would hurt Gerard. So he says, I'm quite uncomfortable. I'm feeling a little bit nervous and I'm standing. So the intruder understands that and says, sit down there and no funny business. You just sit quietly. You don't try to act funny. Yes, you don't try to act over smart. Motions to a chair with the help of the gun, because that is the only hand that he can be seen. The other hand might be in the pocket somewhere, right? The viewers, that is the spectators or the audience, cannot see that, right? So he motions the gun towards a chair and asks Gerard to sit over there. Motions to a chair and sits himself on the divan by the back. Right. He motions to the one of the chairs. We are told in the beginning there are one or two chairs lying over there near the table. So he wants to maintain distance so that Gerard has to take a few seconds to come to him or jump on him. So by the time he clearly has that much time where he can shoot him. So he motions towards the chair which is lying quite far away, and he sits on the divan where the bag is, and there is quite a lot of distance in it. And on the stage it is very comfortable to have distance between the characters so that the spectators can see both of them very clearly. And now then we'll have a nice little talk. Now you're comfortable, I am comfortable. The gun will stay in place so that always you have to answer whatever I say. Gerard says, at last a sympathetic audience. Yes, now the author, he is using quite witty answers and quite a lot of wit over here for Gerard. Yes, introduced maybe, but then surely he uses lots of wit and humor for Gerard. Now, if you try to understand this sentence, at last a sympathetic audience, that means nobody hears me. Nobody sits with me on the table and hears me. Yes, I am the only receiver. Somebody says I have to listen. But now I have a sympathetic audience. That means somebody is willing to hear me. Yes, that's very good. That's quite comfortable, right? And I feel at very ease because somebody, at last I have somebody who is going to listen to me, right? That means nobody listens to me, right? So he is being sarcastic over here. He is trying to be, he is trying to produce humor and try to make that person at ease. Because if you are at ease, if you are normal, yes, then you might make some mistake, and that is exactly what Gerard wants to do. At last, I have a sympathetic audience. I'll tell you the story of my life. Now, we are sitting comfortably. I am on the chair, you are on the divan or the sofa. Yes, both of us are sitting very comfortable, and you have come to learn lots of things from me, perhaps ask me some questions, and I have got a very sympathetic audience, yes, who will quietly listen to me. So, I will tell you whole of my life story. That's going to take a lot of time. How as a child, I was stolen by the gypsies, and why at the age of 32, I find myself in this lonely Essex cottage. So, I'll tell you my life story that when I was quite young, I was stolen by the gypsies, and now that's quite a long story because gypsies too came, and gypsies are wandering tribe. They are usually not that much educated, but here we see that Gerard, on growing up at the age of 32, he is having quite a lavish cottage for himself. Yes, comfortable cottage for himself, and that means he has lots of money, right? So whole of the journey is quite interesting to know. So if you want, I can tell you whole of my life story, and I have a sympathetic audience. We are both seated over here, right? And we have lots of time to speak to each other. So intruder says, keep your story to yourself. I don't want to listen to it, and just answer my questions. So the intruder is not falling into his trap. He says, you keep your story to yourself. I have come over here to ask you some questions, and please live, sorry, please just answer my questions. You live here alone? That is the first question he is asking. So by asking that question, we clearly understand that the intruder does not have all the information about Gerard. Because if he had all the information about Gerard, then he would not be asking this question. So he doesn't know that whether he is living over here alone or he is living with his family over here, maybe a wife, maybe he has children, maybe he has his parents or grandparents. He doesn't know whether he lives single or alone over here. So that is why he is asking these questions. Yes, that means the intruder is ill-informed about Gerard. So he's trying to clear it up. So you live here alone? Well, do you? So Gerard says, I'm sorry. He's not directly answering the question. You see, he is trying to confuse the intruder so that he has enough time to think about some plan, something like that. So Gerard says, I'm sorry. I thought you were telling me, not asking me. Yes, he's asking, intruder is asking a question, but Gerard says, I thought you were going to tell me these things. Now you are asking whether I live alone or not. That means you do not know about me, my house, whether I live single, whether I am single, whether I live with my family. You don't know any of those things. A question of inflection, your voice is unfamiliar. Yes, a question of inflection. Now, it means that you were asking me, right? Here, now your tone is changing. Inflection means the sound of the word of your speaking changes. Rather than questioning, you are inquiring. So that is the change that is happening, and I'm sorry. Yes, that now your sound is quite, your voice is quite unfamiliar. That means I never know you and you never know me. That is the meaning. Yes, if you are asking me whether I live alone in this house, that means you are a total stranger. Up till now, I thought that you knew everything about me. Now you are asking questions. You said you are going to ask a few questions. Right? Now, this is not a question. This is an inquiry if you are asking me whether I live alone or not. So, your sound, your voice has changed, and that makes me quite, you know, in a quite strange situation, because up till now I thought that I was familiar, or you were familiar with me. Now you are not familiar with me, you are a stranger, you don't know anything about me. Introduce it with emphasis. That means he doesn't listen to whatever Gerard has to say. He is staying calm, but then he is focused also. He has asked a question and Gerard has not given an answer. So he's still focused on the question that he had asked. That means he's not being deviated by the wittiness of the person, right? So with emphasis, that means with stress, more clearly, he is asking in a threatening way, do you live alone or not? Yes, please answer my question because I have a gun in my hand. And so Gerard tries to become bold. Yes, what happens if I don't answer your question? What are you going to do? Shoot me? So, and if I don't answer, introduce says, you have got enough sense not to want to get hurt. Now you're quite a good looking gentleman, you're quite educated, and you have a gun pointed at you. So what happens if you don't answer? You'll get hurt. Yes, I'll shoot and you'll get hurt. So you are having quite a lot of sense, because what the way you are answering me tells me that you are quite cool and calm, and you know how to talk in this situation also. Other people might get terrified, quite nervous. Yes, the legs will go wobbly and they'll fall down. Their legs won't be able to keep them standing, right? But you're quite cool and calm and you're talking very wisely. That means you're clever. Then you should be clever enough to know that if you don't answer my questions, I have the gun in my hand, it can blow off and it can shoot you. Gerard says, I think good sense is shown more in the ability to avoid pain than in more a mere desire to do so. What do you think? So he is still playing upon words. Gerard is still playing upon words. He is yet not answering the question asked. He says, yes, I think that uh, rather than getting pain, that means being shot at, getting hurt and receiving pain, it is rather better in this situation to avoid pain and answer your question. So ability to avoid pain is answering. Mr. That means he is trying to ask the name of the person. Introducer is never mind. So introducer very well knows that Gerard is playing with him. He is not giving my answers. He wants to know my name. So he says, don't mind. So here the introducer is not announcing his name. He is not telling what his name is. So never mind my name. I like yours better. Yes, I like your name better, Mr. Gerard. So he evidently knows the name, but then he doesn't know lots of things about Gerard. That we know clearly. So he knows the name. Ah, so he says, I like your name better, and it is Mr. Gerald, because now I know your name. That means I at least know what you are, who you are, right? What are your Christian name? Now he knows Mr. Gerard only. He doesn't know his actual complete full name. That is a Christian name. What is the Christian name? Gerard says Vincent Charles. Vincent Charles Gerard is the complete name of Mr. Gerald, right? So he is asking his Christian name. That means Gerard may be your first name, maybe it's your middle name, maybe it's your last name, right? So middle name can't be happen because middle name usually goes to the father's name, right? So he says the complete Christian name is Vincent Charles Gerald. Intruder asks, do you run a car? That means intruder does not know whether he owns a car and has a car in his garage, etc. So Gerard says no. Now here we see Gerard is quickly answering it. What is the intention of Gerard? So that very soon the intruder will be out of question, because whatever he has come to ask, he asks, and then what will happen? So Gerard wants to see that. That's a lie. Intruder says that's a lie, because when the intruder asks, do you run a car? That means, do you own a car of your own? Gerard says no. The intruder very well knows he has asked this question with a lot of intention. That means intruder knows that Gerard is owning a car, he runs a car, and yet here Gerard is lying. So he says that's a lie. You are not dealing with a fool. That means before coming inside, I have gathered information about you. Maybe that is not complete, but that much I know, you do have a car. I'm as smart as you think. Yes, and I'm more smarter than you. So I will know if you are lying. Now you are lying over here because a car is already there in the garage, or I know I have seen you in your own car, something like that. But I'll be asking lots of questions, and the moment you lie, I'll come to know about it. I'm smart and more smarter than you think. And I know you run a car. So better be careful, wise guy. Yes, my questions can come from any corner, and you tell me the truth, right? You don't lie to me. Wherever you lie, I'll come to know it. So if you think I can easily fool the person who has a gun in his hand, you cannot do so, because if you think yourself as smart, up till here we do understand that Gerard is quite smart person, and maybe over smartness will kill him. So that is what the intruder is saying, that you are smart, but I am more smarter than you think. I am also smart, just like you, but I am more smarter than you. I have collected a little bit information about you, but the moment you speak a lie, I'll come to know about it. So better be careful, wise guy. Gerard says, are you American? Gerard is still trying to wrap up that guy in some kind of foolishness. Yes, he's trying to uh, we see that intruder has come to ask question. Now on the opposite side, Gerard is asking the question, are you American, or is that merely a clever imitation? Yes, I don't think you are an American, because the accent will give you off. So are you really an American, or you are imitating the intonation and the way of speaking as an American? Because I can clearly mark that you are not an American. So are you really an American, or you just trying to put up a show? That imitation. Imitation is trying to act like. Introduces, listen, I have had enough of your smartness. Yes, and you better listen to me now properly. This gun is not a toy. It's a real authenticate gun. Yes, it has bullets in it, and it has a trigger. If I pull the trigger, you are going to get hurt. Right? I can hurt you without killing you. So that means I am a marksman. I'll tell you something about marksman. So here we see totally opposite things happening. The intruder had come in, yes, to terrify Gerard and to kill him and take his place, but then he should have complete information about Gerard. Here we see that Gerard is quite smart, and he is not giving out the information desired by the intruder so quickly. So he says, I am an X1. Now who is getting the information? I think Gerard is getting the information from intruder, because intruder involuntarily gives him lots of details about himself, that he is an expert marksman. Yes. Now marksman means who can point at a target and exactly place a bullet where he wants. That's a marksman. Right now he see here that the intruder is trying to tell him that I am very good with a gun. If I want to kill you, I can kill you. If I just want to hurt you, I'll fire. Yes, and the bullet will hit you, it will harm you, injure you, hurt you, but it will not kill you. So that means I am a good marksman. I am very good with gun. He says, I can hurt you without killing you and still get all my answers. Because once you get hurt, once you are shot, you're not killed, you are shot. Yes, you'll get severely injured. Then you will come to know that it is better to give answers to my question rather than being smart or over smart with me. Gerard said, of course, if you put it like that, I'll be glad to assist you. So now you say that you are a good marksman and you may hurt me, but you won't kill me. So if you put the things in that way, okay, I'll accede to your questions, and I do possess a car. Now he tells the truth. Okay, I do possess a car and it's in the garage around the corner. So intruder says, yes, that's better. That means intruder, before coming into the house, he has gathered information. Okay, Mr. Gerard, that might be written somewhere on the gate, right? Outside the gate, name of the person owning the house may be written. So he knows this is Mr. Gerard. Now, before coming into the house, he might have visited the garage and seen the car over there. So that much, a little bit information he is having. Now he wants complete information from Gerard, because he wants to impersonate him, because he wants to kill Gerard and take his place, right? So intruder says, that's better. Do people often come out here? That means, are you social? Are your friends visiting? Are your near and dear ones visiting you quite often? Because it is easy to fool police, but it is not easy to fool your friends. It is not easy to fool your near and dear ones. It is not easy to fool people you work with, because they'll come to know the way you speak. Of course, first thing is the voice is going to change. Second thing is, of course, the whole of the similarity of the physic is going to be okay. Yes, nobody will recognize that he is not Mr. Gerard, right? Maybe he'll do some makeup, etc. So that can very well hide himself. But the near and dear ones, they will be asking him some personal questions, right? Or maybe they would be discussing some personal affairs over there that the intruder does not know. So he wants to know whether people come to his place often or not. So Gerard, again, he is trying to be smart. Very rarely, surprisingly, few people take the trouble to visit me. That means I'm not that much type of social animal, right? I'm not that much social. People do not come to visit me now and then. But there's some few people who do come to visit me, and who are the people? There's the baker and the greengrocer. Yes, whenever I want some food stuff, some bakery items, I just phone them, or on a regular basis I've given them instructions, so they come to give me bread, milk, some groceries, vegetables, meat, whatever, right? So there's baker and the greengrocer, of course. Greengrocer is the person who sells vegetables and etc., fruits, etc. He's called the greengrocer, of course. And then there's the milkman. So I get these regular things. So they come to my doorstep, right? Usually in these countries, the order is placed at the door, right? Whether a person is inside the house or not, that's not required, right? He has placed an order or he has left some instructions. So you place those things at the door. Whenever that person comes from outside, he carries it inside. So that's usually the thing. So these people, whether I'm inside or not, these people surely visit my house. But they are quite, they're business people, right? They do that small petty business of supplying bakery items or grocery. Some milkman is also there. He comes quite early, we know, right? So at that time, I might be awake or not. But then I regularly have to pay them, right? And quite charming. But no, the milkman, he's quite charming. These are charming people that I deal with, but I don't know. I'm not that much acquainted with them. But no one so interesting as yourself. You are the first person to come into my house. Those people do not come into my house. They leave the things outside my house, outside the main door. Perhaps ring a bell also that your milk is over here, your bakery items are over here. Yes, I don't need to pay them every time. Maybe that arrangement is made that he'll pay in a 1 week, per week, or per month. Yes, so I don't need to see them personally, and nobody enters my house. You are more interesting person because you have entered my house, although illegally. But then, so man, quite charming. But no one is so much interesting as you, right? You have stepped into my house. Intruder says, I happen to know that you never see tradespeople. Yes, that means no, you don't see these tradespeople. These people, that means who are, suppose electrician, etc. You just phone. Yes, and people come and work, whatever electrical work is to be done, perhaps some heating work is to be done right over there, the heaters are there. Yes, so maybe those people do come visit your house, but then I know you don't meet much with these people. Gerard says, you seem to have taken considerable amount of trouble trying to find information about me. Since you know me so much, won't you say something about yourself? Now you already know lots of things about me. Yes, you know that I don't never see the tradesman. That means the baker, the milkman, the greengrocer. You know that they do come to my house, but I don't meet them. So you know lots of things about me. Yes. Now one thing is, you know everything about me, or lots of things. Yes, you have taken the trouble of doing all that homework before you come to meet me, right? But then I don't know anything about you. No, so just we are seated, yes, opposite, in front of each other. Now you know everything about me. So now tell me something about you. You have to be modest. Modest means you have to be quite honest. And I am replying to you, so you should reply to me like some modest person. Introduces, I could tell you plenty. I can tell you plenty about myself, but right now I'm not interested in telling you. You think you are smart, but I am at the top of class around here, right? In between the two of us, you think you are smart, but I am more smarter than you. You are trying to get information from me, you are not getting it. That means you think you'll trap me in your words, in your wit, and in your cleverness, but that's not going to happen. I'm quite clever. I know what you are doing. You want information from me, you're not getting it. I'll get information whatever I want because I have a gun in my hand, but you are not going to get it. And I use them. I got brains and I use them. Yes, I'm also quite smart. I have got brains and I'm using it, and you are not going to get any information from me. That's how I have got where I have. Where today I am standing, I'm a criminal, and I'm a hardened criminal, and I'm alive up till now because of my brains, because I use my brains properly, and that is why I am alive. Otherwise, I got lots of enemies, especially the police. If you are a criminal, your best enemy is the police, right? And I have survived so far. That means I'm clever. I use my brains properly. Gerard says, and where precisely have you got? So now Gerard is actually laughing. We don't see the laughter, but we see that laughter in his words. He's laughing. You say you have brains, you got lots of cleverness, you're very, very smart, and what has that got you? You just entered my house illegally. So you think you're smart, right? It didn't require lots of brains to break into my cottage. Yes, you just open the door and you are inside. So if you think you're very clever, all your cleverness has just brought you inside my house, inside my room. Introducer says, when you know why I have broken into your little cottage, you'll be surprised. It won't be pleasant surprise. So, oh, it's okay, you are smart. That's good enough. Yes, yes, but I'm more smarter than you. But the moment you know why I am here, that's going to be a surprise, because up till now I haven't told you why I'm here, right? So, when you know that, you are going to, all your smartness is going to evaporate, and you will really be terrified, horrified, and you will be shaking, shivering, and you'll be quite nervous, and that is not going to be a pleasant surprise. Gerard, with you figuring so largely in it, that is understandable. You're a criminal and you're inside my house. That means I can understand what the situation is going to be. By the way, what particular line of crime do you embrace, or aren't you a specialist? So now we see Gerard is trying to probe him. Yes, he's trying to poke him to give some answers, so that he's just trying to engage the intruder in words, in speeches, and dialogues, and he's trying to confuse the intruder, that is the criminal, and deviate from his path so that he gets enough time, right? Maybe he's waiting for something like that. So he's trying to trap the intruder in his smart way of talking, or trying to convince him of something. So here he says, a very good question asked by Gerard. Which line in crime are you in? So that's a very good question. Yes, if you are a bank robber, Yes, you are not good at pointing at a gun at someone and trying to rob him, because those are two different things. Yes, um, bank robber, he needs lots of planning to do. Yes, he needs lots of accomplices. He cannot do it all alone, right? So he has to plan well in advance, execute the plan, get away from the scene, and try to avoid the police and easily do the rest of the things so that he's not caught by the police. Now, that is not required by a person just standing anywhere, pointing a gun at someone and trying to take away his purse and money and all that. So, which line of crime are you in? Are you a robber? Are you a thief? Are you a bank robber? Yes. Are you a murderer? So there are many lines available. Yes. So a black marketer, whatever. What are you? What is your specialty? Or aren't you a specialist in something? Yes, many people are having, because they have the skill, they have developed the skill, they have a lot of experience, they have developed the skill, he becomes a specialist. So in crime also, among criminals also, there are quite a lot of specialists. Yes, we all know that thing. My specialty is jewel robbery. So we see here that Gerard is successful in getting some information from the intruder. Either the intruder is being lenient, we don't know yet, yes, or because of the questions asked. Now, if we know, when you try to pamper someone, when you try to butter polish him, you'll get lots of information from it. You be kind, yes. So you, these are the different ways in which you can get information from someone. Here we see Gerard has been successful because the intruder admits that his specialty is jewels, robbery of jewels, right? So precious stones. Your car will do me a treat. It's certainly a dandy bus, right? Your car is going. Now here we see the intruder has given some information, but then again he deviates from the point over here, and he tries to deviate the mind of Gerard also. So uh, we can say that the intruder is also quite clever. He falls into the trap, but instantly he comes out of the trap and he says that your car is going to serve a great lot of purpose. It's a dandy bus. That means everybody has a similar type of cars, so nobody's going to suspect it. Yes, it's not over shiny, over bright. Yes, attractive colors. It's usual color that everybody has. Yes, it's good enough for a transport. Gerard says, I'm afraid jewels are few and far between in the wilds of Essex. Then Gerard says, then you are in the wrong place. Because here in the, suppose, a cottage, it's a small cottage and it's quite far away from the locality. It's quite an easy spot to be picked up by any thief. So, do you think I'll keep jewels over here in my house? You think I might be that much rich person who might be having jewels? Okay, but I'm not a fool to keep jewels in a cottage. So you are in the wrong place, my friend, right? I'm afraid jewels are few, they are rare also, and in the wilds of Essex, that means in this wild area that might be filled with lots of forest and greenery and all that, where there is lots of space in between two houses. So what happens in one house, the other house just has no way of knowing it. But if I leave my house and go away for a while, it will give ample time for a thief to come in and search whole of my house and find the jewels. Do you think if I have jewels, I'm going to keep in this house which is in solitude, right? Intruder says, so are the cops. If jewels are few and rare in these wild areas of Essex, then it means policemen also are few. They are also rare. They know you. They don't come every day or they don't come every week to ask, what are you doing? Right? Privacy. Right? So, I can retire over here. Nobody will raise a question. Yes, who you are, because everybody knows there is a nameplate written over there, Mr. Gerard. Yes, and everybody knows, even the police knows about you. So they are not going to come and trouble you. Right? So, jewels are few, rare, they will not be found in Essex. Same way, policemen are also few. Yes, because the crime rate is quite low. Yes, and people are quite peaceful. Nothing happens over here. So, police are not that much. And you are quite a respectable person over here. So, everybody knows you and nobody is going to trouble me. So, I can retire over here quite nicely and for quite a lot of time. Right? So, we stop over here for the moment. Thank you.